live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Hey, hey, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going live. Yeah, yeah, we going. Yeah, 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 we going. Yeah, 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 we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line, we going live. From the 50-yard line. Hey.
All right, so the Detroit Lions and the LA Rams have made a trade. And so this isn't us really like reporting it because obviously that news has come out some time ago. But what did you think of the trade from each team's standpoint?
So it's weird. Like I'm a Matthew Stafford fan, but it's because he went to Georgia.
He went to Georgia,
right? The dude has a rocket for an arm. But I don't know. Like I do not see such a huge upside in having him over Goff.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, no. I do not see the huge upside.
This is a tremendous upgrade. This is a tremendous upgrade. I think what you
5 years ago, I'd have said that.
Well, still today. So one thing you know about Matthew Stafford is he's tough. Tough as
That's why he's broke down all the time now because he's been so tough for so long.
Well, true, but he's one of those quarterbacks who still has one of those rockets for arm.
Yeah, he got an arm now.
Ever since Calvin Johnson, and I would have to look up the stats on this to be completely correct about this, but I'm almost sure I am. Ever since Calvin Johnson left, he's been a much safer passer, not taking as many risks, kind of taking what the defense gives him. And I would say his interceptions probably have gone down. Don't quote me on that. I would need to go look at the stats in there.
He's never been he's never been like the high interception dude to me. Yeah.
Well, so and we were talking about this the other day, me and one of my guys, shout out to Edwin Piner, how when Calvin Johnson was there, he would force the ball kind of to Calvin Johnson a lot, which with a receiver of that, with a receiver of that magnitude, you feel the need to do that, right?
Yeah.
Because he is who he is.
Russell and DK, this is what's happening there.
Right.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
But now you see that he spreads the ball around. He takes what the defense gives him. He's not always trying to hit the home run. Even though he still has a rifle.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great move because I think Jared Goff just isn't it. He isn't it, And if you're Detroit, you make this move because look at the draft capital you got.
Right. Well, for them, you notice I didn't even say anything about them because I know why they did what they did.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to figure out LA's logic in this thing.
Well, I think LA understands that the team that they have was being held back by Jared Goff. They truly were. And in order to you have a team that could win right now, and you got to take advantage of that. And so when you have that type of team, you can't go in a draft and get another quarterback. You got to go get someone who's established.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
I mean, I definitely don't doubt Matthew Stafford's abilities. That's not. It's just I'm more concerned about his stability.
Right. Oh yeah.
Than his abilities at this point. You know what I mean? Like, correct. His availability is going to be what I'm most concerned about. But of course, he'll have a better O-line. So he might stay upright a little more. So that'll help.
And he'll have a defense.
Yeah.
Which he hasn't.
That's really definitely not been Detroit. It's definitely not been Detroit's thing.
He hasn't really had a defense. So
no. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
no shade, Matthew. No shade. I promise. No shade.
Steph always, well, not always, but Steph talks about Matthew Stafford. If you hear this, she talks about you.
Yeah, no.
Often.
Often.
So, yeah. All right. Courtside Karen.
Back to Atlanta. Here we go.
And we're coming back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Courtside Karen decided that, and heckling players isn't really a horrible thing.
But what is the point of that? I'm sorry. I want to talk about that before we move forward because I've never is it to get in their heads? Is it to get them off their games?
To get them off their games, get under their skin.
But you're not playing them. How about this? Y'all tell people to shut up and dribble. Sit down and shut up.
Well, so I think it provides that college type of atmosphere, right? Because you think about camera indoor, but you want to recreate that. Like you want fans who are like fans.
And I get that. Can't they do some of the stuff they do? Like the chanting and the jumping and all that kind of stuff together.
Yeah, but them college fans heckle.
Well,
they oh my gosh.
Yeah. I have zero understanding of what I get the point, but it's just I don't know. It's tacky to me. All I'm gonna say is if I got money to sit courtside, boo, I don't have time to be talking to you. Let me just sit here and enjoy what's going on in front of me. Okay. Let me just be clear.
You can tell by her response and just her, what was it, Snapchat that she did a thing on there and like
and just I got a problem. Okay,
it was a clout play.
Karen, boo. Do you really believe that somebody is going to believe that LeBron called you out of your name?
Yeah.
You made that up in your head, boo. You were drunk and you heard that because that's who you were being. You heard that. That was not LeBron. That was not LeBron. You heard that in your head. It was not LeBron. I promise you. You were drunk and that was the problem.
So apparently, though, like they dug into her husband's background a little bit. And I mean, I won't say that he's racist or anything like that, even though that's what they kind of intimated.
That's what I figured.
But he is a Trump supporter, and he had some sketchy stuff on his I think it was IG or his Facebook or something.
I believe it.
Yeah, so
I believe it.
But the thing that got me though is like LeBron and my husband have had a problem. Man.
Like they friends or something. Boo.
LeBron don't know you.
You or your husband. Who are y'all? Like for real. I just was like, that was. And the funny part is your husband heckles him. So he said something to get under LeBron's skin. Now don't be mad when he clapped back at you. Don't get mad. Right. How you gonna get mad? Wait, did your husband not start this?
Exactly. Well, when she tried to frame it, she was like, LeBron said something to my husband, and why is LeBron gonna pick your husband?
What your husband said.
Exactly. So
come on, son.
Right.
No, I need her to go on with that. But I love LeBron's response.
Yeah.
It was like, no, she was heated. It was like Karen was heated. Like
Karen was mad.
Mad. Like, oh, okay. But he's like, I'm glad just to have the fans back in the building. So, that's such a good way to look at it. Because when you look at the video, he was almost laughing.
Yeah.
And how angry she was. That tickled him like, man, you can really like. But but have a little class about yourself. You're sitting up in here with a fur coat on at a basketball game. Anywho, that your fashion choices are yours, but you gonna act like you got some sense. Right. That's all I'm saying.
Or you gonna get put out like you did.
Karen, yes. For sure. Yeah. So.
All right. Henry Hank Aaron.
Man.
Now I know this one is probably a lot more special to you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, not to say it like that. Like
no, because he was
I played baseball.
He was in Atlanta my whole life.
Right. So that's what I was saying. That's what I meant by it. Like being here and him being the Braves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
Pretty
much the face of the Braves.
Right. like just to, you know, to hear about, you know, his passing and think about his legacy and his impact on baseball, on the Braves and on the city of Atlanta. What are some things that come to mind, like when you just think about him and maybe his time as a Brave?
I look at it as kind of, he was a pioneer of sport of sorts, because we know Atlanta is the Deep South. Yeah, it's only been in this transition to Chocolate City in recent decades, right? The time, but in his time, that's not was the case. That was not the case. Yeah, and so he had to be a trailblazer of sorts, because he was also, not only was he was playing a predominantly white sport. And so for him to come into baseball and do the things that he did, that, in my opinion, put Atlanta on the map. Yeah. In real time, like real talk, put Atlanta on the map. He was the first really big time thing, sports-wise, to happen to Atlanta. Yeah. And it was a Black man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I just, his, not just his baseball career, but just the things that he did after his career. And to me, him staying in Atlanta was a huge, huge deal. Yeah. Because he could have gone anywhere. He could have left here. He could have left there. He could have gone anywhere, right? Yeah. But he didn't. He stayed and he did so many things for the city, just being, I look at him as a great ambassador for the city of Atlanta, because he was a class act. You know, you never heard crazy things. You know, it was never that. Always even keel, just a good guy all around. He was just positive. I mean, you know, his baseball accolades speak for themselves, but you know, this man, he epitomized what we, when we look at a LeBron now. Yeah. Or Kobe, you know what I mean? Like, he was the guy that set that standard for them and how they were going to operate on such a high, well-known level as an African-American sports hero. Yeah. He did that.
As a young Black man who played baseball, even though he was not era, and like, obviously folks like Ken Griffey Jr. were the first people who come to mind. Right. You still heard about Jackie Robinson and Hank Aaron. You know, and I would say because Jackie Robinson was so much farther away from us. Right. Hank Aaron and like some of his accomplishments stuck out, right? Yeah. You know,
I mean, they had to. Yeah.
One of the stats that kind of stick out about Hank Aaron was that he could have not hit one home run and still been over 3,000 hits.
Wow.
Like that's
big to say.
Like phenomenal.
That's big to say.
And so when you think about his legacy, especially his legacy in baseball, the word that comes to mind is transcendent. You know, so rest in peace, King.
Absolutely. I have to say this though. I just read this and I thought it was really cool. He was a Cleveland Browns fan.
Really?
And he used to attend in disguise, go to Cleveland Browns games and sit with the dog pound.
Now that's real right there.
Right. I love
I'm not gonna sit up in no box.
Right.
I'm gonna sit with the fans.
Like, yeah. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And I did not know, did you know he was like kind of, again, being an ambassador, he put himself out there to have the vaccine? Yeah.
Remember, when we would discuss this, I said I didn't want to, you know, that whole
theory about, because you took it on the 5th and you died on the 22nd.
Yeah. Well, so he took the first one on the 5th.
Yes.
and I believe he had taken the second one just days before he passed.
And they say he died of natural causes.
Yeah, I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying?
We're not going to listen. What is it that Chad Johnson says on I Am Athlete? We're not going to get a table legs.
No legs. Yeah.
We're not getting a table legs. I just saw that and I'm like, wait, I didn't think I know that part. But yeah, okay. Yeah. We're not going to get a table legs.
Yeah.
Chad, we hear you.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, but rest in peace, King. Like your legacy is cemented.
Absolutely.
And thank you for your contributions to the game of baseball, but larger, like humanity.
Absolutely. Like that movie they did, One Night in Miami. Like, I don't know, he probably wasn't in that era. I can't remember, but seemed like he ought to have been one that was in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, no, but that was cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Rest in peace, King, like you said.
Yeah. All right. The Houston Rockets. Now, I think, obviously, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant all together present this crazy,
it's ugly,
crazy
man.
good offensive force, even though they don't play the defense. But what could you expect from a team that D'Antoni is on the coaching staff of?
Right.
But I think people thought that the Houston Rockets were just going to fall apart because James Harden left.
Well, and remember his words before he left. When what really set all of this in motion was, we're just not good enough.
Yeah. And they got a couple of pieces. They look good enough to me.
They look pretty good to me too.
John Wall looks like he is in I don't know if that was an ACL he had before the Achilles, but he looks like he's in pre-ACL, pre-Achilles shape. Yeah. And that battle that he had with Russ a few nights ago when they played against the Wizards. What is up
with Russ? He fighting everybody. Like, what's happening?
He
like, you fighting everybody, bro. You mad because he in Washington, bro? He's just taking it out on everybody.
And maybe he just kind of said this to say that, but he said he was kind of happy to be in Washington. Now, obviously, I'm sure he wished that they were winning. And I know that he was hyped the other night when they beat the Nets. But he's been a little feisty.
It's a wee bit feisty, just a little bit, but yeah, no, those Rockets, they look crisp. It's almost, I'm gonna say this, it's like a weight has been lifted. Yeah. Like for the ones who were there already, like we can just play basketball now. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of that feel was what I get. They're loose. Yeah. They don't feel so uptight. They can just go out and have fun.
Just play it. They don't have this cloud hanging over them.
Yeah, that's what he brought.
Because that's what he was.
Yeah. So glad,
that Christian Wood. Yeah. Like, he's something serious. Yeah. I don't want to repeat what somebody said, but just based off my own observation, he looks like a young Anthony Davis. He really does.
That's what they keep saying. Like, like he get a little more meat on him, and yeah. Well, we'll see. But either way, I'm
excited for them.
I'm happy for them. Like, real talk, happy, especially because I think the coach handled all of this with such class. Yes. So I'm just really happy that they get this.
He's somebody who, Steven Silas, who is the son of Paul Silas, who was a longtime NBA coach. He's somebody who's been in the NBA for a long time and hadn't received an opportunity, Right. And then to be given this opportunity and have it play out the way it did, right? I can imagine that kind of breaking his spirit a little bit. Like, hey, I just,
inherited this mess. Like, yeah. No, I'm glad that he's getting this opportunity to show what he can do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Now let's talk about this whole NFL investigation.
My auntie is not even a sports fan, but today we had a whole 45-minute conversation about this right here. Okay.
Oh wow. So and I can understand why it would be that long. You know, it's funny. I remember I had texted you the story, but you had already put it on the notes for us to discuss. Because I'm looking at ESPN and I'm seeing them talk about this, and I'm like, is this real?
Yeah. And the logic behind it just blew my mind.
So for those
you
of you,
tell the story,
for those of you who don't understand, there was a class action lawsuit against the NFL for its knowledge of concussions and CTE and what it does to the brain. So a bunch of NFL players got together in their representation and they sued the NFL because the NFL knew about CTE and they did nothing. So, you know, older players who, you know, were involved in the sport and who suffered some of these concussions and who were having, you know, issues because of them, they got to place claims in that class action lawsuit. Well, what ended up happening is that a lot of the Black players were being denied. They were being denied, and that's one part of it. But they were being denied because it was said that Black players had less cognitive ability than white players. So that silence wasn't us going away. That was, I'm floored by it.
And okay, so you all understand the context of why we're floored. We're talking about 2016, 2000, somewhere and about when. So we're talking at the latest 5 or 6 years ago, when all of this kind of swirled around, like really got started, like really picked up steam. We're not talking about in the 60s or 70s, right? We're talking about 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, that there are scientists, people who study, who are supposed to be unbiased in their study, who would come out and make such ridiculous statements as a way to justify not giving Black players the same thing that the white players are getting when it's your fault, when it's the NFL's fault. The audacity to say that it's about somebody's cognitive ability and to say that they're inferior. This is what our systemic racism looks like in this country. You don't have to say I hate Black people. You don't have to say I don't like Black people, but you can have these kind of stupid thoughts about Black people, that we're not as smart as white people. Like, are you serious?
And then if these things are veiled and if they don't come out, we don't hear about it, right? And then you get the people who are like, oh, racism doesn't exist anymore. Y'all had a Black president, you know, and it's just frustrating. Like, I saw that story and got upset. You know, what I text you when I saw that story?
I don't even remember.
I think it was something like the NFL is trash.
Like, this is trash. Like, and you know what's funny? I'm gonna just be transparent and say, the very first thought I had was about you. When I saw this, the very first thought I had was about you. Because I'm like, how dare they? I know my brother is brilliant. So, and I say that about just about, I'm gonna say it, every athlete that I know is African American, pretty much. And they are all brilliant. And the thing about it is, I worked in the school that you work in now. It is in the middle of the city, in the highest crime place in the city, right? And if those kids don't have the same level of education, that does not speak to their cognitive ability. That speaks to the lack of what has been offered and given to them by the people who are failing them. That has nothing to do with their ability to learn. It's you fail them. It's not, so you're not gonna say it's about somebody's cognitive ability. You're gonna have to talk about something else. You're gonna have to deal with the real issue, the systemic racism that causes education not to be equal. Right. That's what you're gonna have to talk about. You're not gonna get to talk about this and say it's because he didn't have the ability. No. Yeah. No. So I was
I already know you was out about that one.
I was livid. I mean, livid, because all I thought about was you first, and then all of the babies I've worked with. How smart they are. We had Wheeler on here. How smart is he?
Right. Right.
Come on. Let's really. J-Boy, come on. Yeah. I just shut up. That's what I want to say. Just all y'all sit down and shut up.
I pray that they get together and they effectively investigate that.
And they punish
hands off the NFL. I pray.
I'll punish whoever. That's what you said. Now I know what you said. NFL is trash. Yeah, that's what you said.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but this is wow. Like, how do you make this one up? How you make up for this one? How do you make this? How do you make up for this one?
And then when you add that to the idea that, all of these Black coaches,
that's why they're not getting jobs.
To be head coaches, like this thing is systemic.
That's why they're not getting jobs, right there. I think we just hit the nail on the head.
I don't care, right? Because you don't believe their cognitive
abilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I just it's frustrating.
I can imagine. I mean, and I'm just pissed as I am, but I'm a female sitting on the outside looking in. Can't even imagine as a person who actually played the sport, who is an African American man, who pretty much they just talked about y'all and dogged y'all. Like, I can't imagine. I can't even imagine. If I feel like I do, I can't even imagine. And I'm not them. But I'm just going to put this out here holistically. Every brother that's out there, don't you let people put you in no box. I'm getting country. Don't let people put you in a box.
Don't let them put you in no box.
Don't let other people's opinion, their thoughts, do not, and this is especially true for high school and college students, please do not buy into that. Yeah. Do not, because it's not true. Put your mind to anything. Look, I know we get this little short Black History Month that we have, but if you look at all of the things that are being shared on social media about the inventions and the people who, we wouldn't have half the stuff, more than half actually, of the things that give us comfort in this society now, if it was not for an African American. So something's cognitively okay. So do not buy that. Do not let somebody put you in a box, please, sirs and ma'ams. Do not. Yeah. I know I'm smart. Y'all can't tell me. You can't.
Right. No. My whole life has been dedicated to, dispelling that myth.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I'm saying? Anytime you see it rise its ugly head again, it's like, for real, like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, this is not good. So yes, I can't wait for us to come back with a new story about how they broke the NFL.
Sued the pants off the NFL.
Right. Every player is getting, that's what I want to hear. So yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Who saw?
That's okay.
Now put the cameras on me, 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 put the cameras on me.